in a poncho. We're just talking today about wet, windy wedding plans. Sometimes we just can't control what the weather is going to do on a really important day. So, how do we get the information out to people once you've called the wet weather plan to be activated? You might be really clever and have a spreadsheet of everyone's emails and text messages and things like that. If you can just get someone responsible or a planner to take care of that and get in touch with everyone, that's one way of doing it. I think the easiest way to do it possibly might be if you have a Facebook group ready to go of all the people who are attending your wedding. People tend to be checking Facebook. Even sometimes people tend to check Facebook more than they'll check their phones if they're running around and getting ready. That's a pretty good way to let people know. Text message, also a good way. Something that happens a lot of the time is even though you have made your plan be activated or active so that your guests know where the wedding is, you need to let the vendors know, okay? So you need to let the celebrant know, the DJ know, all those sorts of people who will be going to your location not knowing what to do. Chat to your reception venue, okay? If you haven't got a wedding plan B organised, the venue are the people who have done this stuff a million times before, and I'm sure they can make some really great suggestions on what you can do without that much stress. So, it has been raining for a few days now, and you have seen on the news that there are flooding areas, and you're meant to be going to a beautiful regional area to celebrate a wedding this weekend. Are the roads open? Can you drive there? Do you need a four-wheel drive? Are things being relocated? Is there power? These are problems that I have heard a bunch of times from my other vendor friends and experienced myself when it comes to weddings. It is shocking to think that you might lose power at your destination of wedding venue choice place, okay? But when you're talking with your caterers, with your stylists, with your venues, all those kinds of people that have something to do with where your wedding is going to be, ask them, what do we do if it rains? What do we do if we lose power? Is there another generator? Have we got some other plans here? If the weather conditions are seriously bad, so we're talking road closures, etc., okay, if it's flooded, leave it, or whatever the tagline is that we've got going on in Queensland and probably other places, that's totally true. If you're driving to a place, don't risk it. It is just not worth it. So, if you're that person who thinks a flood might be happening and people might not be able to make your wedding, what happens? Okay, a little while back there was a flood going on, and I was meant to be going to a ceremony in a farm regional area, northwest. I suck at geography, I have no idea where it was, but I arranged for my husband to drive me, not because I'm some damsel in distress and I need a rescue, but he has a four-wheel drive ute. I don't have a four-wheel drive ute. It's not a good idea to drive on your own in those sorts of conditions. You really should have two people in case something goes wrong. And so bring a buddy and have a suitable all-terrain vehicle. What I also did was prepare a version of a ceremony that could happen if spoken by someone else. Okay, so I had my couple designate a friend or their MC as a responsible just in case Alana gets stuck in a river and drowned on the way to your wedding. It was a little file that I had essentially a commitment ceremony written out, okay? So it was my plan of all the crazy and fun things that I thought someone else would be able to execute if I weren't able to, less the legal things that only a celebrant can do. Now, thank goodness we didn't have to go to that plan, but it was a peace of mind, I believe, for my couple and myself, knowing that worst case scenario, if roads got cut off and I couldn't get there or other people couldn't get there, a ceremony could still take place. And then, once things opened up, I could have made arrangements to get to them and do the legal bits and pieces. Celebrants, if you're listening, it is always a really great idea to know who your celebrant friends are in these sorts of regions. So if you think things are going to be a little bit tricky, put a little call out in advance and say, hey guys, I might need a lifeline, I might need a rescue. Who is around to get to this place if I can't? Especially I remember the same flood season, there was some celebrants that weren't able to get to their weddings, and there was a friend that came in, saved the day, and everyone got married. So it's always great to have a plan.